Hello there. So in today's video, we're going to continue learning about how to override resources. Um, for today's video, we're going to cover the Workspace tool that is provided by the Chrome DevTools. So the Workspace is a tool that allows us to set up a workspace to sync edits directly to the sources that we are developing. So for example, if we are working on a project and then we want to see those files of the project that we are working with reflected into the DevTools directly, we can use the workspace in order to do that. So the workspace tool is a pretty powerful tool. It's also something that is pretty useful when you are working on a production environment and you want to sync the files of the local environment with your production files environment, and then you just want that every change that you make on the files themselves are reflected into the code base, into the actual local developed sources. So we are going to dive into how to do that, and you're going to see some magic takes place using this tool. So let's dive into it. In order to access it, you would need to go to the sources panel, and then from here you want to select the workspace. If you want to learn more about the workspace itself tool and how to use it and what it basically does, there is this blog by the Chrome developers themselves explaining more about it and what it basically does, but we're going to cover all of that into our video today. So, first of all, you want to select or add a folder of your workspace that you need to sync. So let's just click on Add Folder. Then you would want to go to your folder that you want that it has the sources of your website. So we're just going to select the debugging example folder. Then you click Allow. So after you do that, we can see all of our sources or of our files for this project showing to us here. So if we go to the Visual Studio Code, we can see that those are the files that we have for our project. It is just a dummy project just to demonstrate this tool. So these are basically the same files that we have here. So now let's just close all of those. So if you take a look here, we can see a little green mark next to those files. So what it basically means is that, so if we just hover over this here, so basically it says that it's linked to our local file. So this main.module.js is basically linked to this file, which is the main.module.js. So now any change that we make here, like directly into the DevTools, will be reflected instantly into our code base. So for example, I have this alert. So let's just change the content of this alert just to say override this locally, and we just click Control S to save this. Like I've just hit Control S, I saved the file. I haven't yet reloaded this page, and it just got instantly live reloaded for us, which is pretty powerful thing to have if you don't like um, like to use any watcher or something like that, or if you have some restrictions on your local environment that you can't use some watches. So now we have actual watches for us that instantly reloads the site as soon as you make any change into your environment. So we can see here that this alert message is now showing for us. We just hit OK. And now the cool thing is that we've just like did the change here on the DevTools. We haven't yet touched the local files themselves. We haven't yet made any changes from the VS Code. But if we go back to the editor that we have, the change is instantly there for us. So basically, any change that you make here is also reflected on the other side. So if we um, like try to change this to say that this is overridden um, from VS Code, and we hit save, and then we go back into the Chrome, you can see that the Chrome that just got reloaded for us with the change that we've made from the editor. So if we just hit OK once again, just maybe it's cached. So we can see here that the change has got also reflected from the editor itself. So this works as well for the CSS files that we have. So for example, if we go back into our project and then let's say that we want to change something about the card.sas, and we want just to add any background color, let's say just say gold, for example, and then we hit save. So here we have a live watcher service that basically builds the SAS files into the release assets build.css files. So let's just get back into Chrome, and then we can see that the gold color has got applied for this card body class instantly. You can see here that if you go to the styles panel, that there is this also green symbol which indicates that this card.css is now linked to the local one as well. So this is just like the other JavaScript. So if we change something here, we hit save, we can see here that the change got instantly applied. And if we go back to the VS Code, we can see that background is now changed to red as well. This also works for indexed like .html files. So basically any file that you have here in the workspace is also overridden. So if we change this to VS Code changed card, and we go save, hit back, it's now auto refreshed for us, and the change is now applied here as well. So for me, it's pretty magical, pretty powerful to have. You can just start editing your files directly from the DevTools without having to go back to the code and locate the place in which you need to make that change. You can just change it here, and instantly you will get the changes reflected into your sources locally. So this was for the local development environment. We can also do the same with a live development environment. So let's just say that this project is deployed on any production environment. Like we don't have the actual local files, but we have the files of the project on the production environment itself. So if we go to the sources again, we just like add the same folder that corresponds to the project itself. So here we can see that also those files are reflected for us, like are linked to the local environment, but for some reason we don't see the alerts that we've just added. So let's just refresh. Yeah, so here we can see the changes that we have, and that's because we need to do an extra step in order to have the changes from the local environment instantly applied. So the reason that we need to do such thing is because if we go to the elements, so here the build.css, which has all of our CSS styles in it, is basically linked to the one that is within the production environment itself. So this is not pointing to the local environment. So in order to do that, we would need to do an extra step to get the local compiled CSS to be read from the production environment itself, which is what we've covered in the latest video, which is to enable the overrides of the resources that we need. So here is the live environment, and then we are just overriding the released assets build.css with the local one, and also the JavaScript, which is the main.module.js with our locally. One, because we are also, if we can check the last embody here, just yes, this there it is. We are pointing to the main.model.js, which is reading from the production environment, not the local one. So by doing that, by enabling the overrides here, we are telling that the Chrome browser to take the main.module.js from our local files. So now if we just make any changes, so let's just change any, let's get back to the card that we have and set it to gold, for example, and we hit Control S. We can see that on a live environment, we have live reloading without the need to use any external tools, anything extra, anything fancy. And also for the JS, we can do the same. So if we go to the main.module and change this, let's just add any text that we have. We hit Control S. So for this, for some reason, when you are working on a production environment, you don't see the JavaScript files like have hot reloading. As soon as you make a change, you won't see um, the Chrome like reloading the site instantly. So we would need to hit refresh once again, and we can see the new text that we've just added is also added here. So if you go back to the VS Code, once again, we go to the main module, you can see that even though that we are working in a production environment, the local changes that we've made are also reflected, or sorry, like the Chrome changes or the changes that we've made on the Chrome itself are also reflected on the local environment that we have. So here we have the gold color and also the alert for us. So that should be it for this section of the course, which is the overriding of the resources. Next up, we will be looking into how to um, analyze network requests made by a website.